Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly hit that subscribe button. And if you're a returning subscriber, oh my goodness, I'm so excited that you have subscribed and you decided to watch the channel. So my name is Princess. Everything psychology, faith and lifestyle should be here, but I'm still in my granny, so it's difficult to like shoot your own content and do your own thing in other people's spaces and territories. So let's hope that next year I'm able to put something or some interesting stuff. So, but for now, let's just get into serious things, although it's like December. So today I want to talk about mistakes to avoid during the master selection processes based on my experience. And I also want to speak about mistakes to avoid during the application period, right? So before that, let me start by apologizing, guys. I know I'm supposed to put a video on, I think I was supposed to have posted on Sunday or Friday, I forgot, but yeah, it was like a Christmas weekend. It was so nice. It was my birthday. I also had my cousins coming over, my sisters, so it was just like so nice having a lot of people at my granny's. So attending family events, yeah, so you can't always having your phone like during the time you're supposed to be bonding, celebrating, catching up, guys. So I tried, you'll see some clips, but yeah, it was not really working out that well. So yeah, let's just get into today's video. So I'm going to start with the application phase, and this is one of the most crucial phases you could ever have a chance to represent yourself or to get the best application that will speak for you. And a lot of people take it for granted. A lot of people start their applications very late, a month or 2 weeks or even an hour before the closing date. And if you can check, a lot of master's applications, they open for more than 3 to 4 months. That is to give you time or a chance to plan and strategize as to how you're going to go about your application. Because unlike any other masters, professional psychology masters are very specific and competitive in nature. So you need to be able to prepare your application in such a way that it best represents you, and it also gives you a chance to compete amongst many other best potential psychologists depending on the specialization you will be applying for. But this video is specific to counseling and clinical psychology because I am quite familiar with the processes. So why am I speaking of planning and strategizing? So master's application, they require money. So you need to have a budget. You need to know where you're going to get that money from. So if you are funded, make sure that you do save money, as I'm talking about current honor students. So if you're already out of school and you're probably working or you're doing something that can give you money, make sure that you save money, because applications do range from 100 rands to about 400 rands depending on the university that you will be applying for. So money is a factor. The second thing is referees. You need to find 2 to 3 people who are able to speak about you, who are able to write referee letters for you in such a way that would best represent you and also be able to make you competitive. And I keep repeating those words because in essence that is what it's about. I know there are other factors that are involved, but it's competition and it's great representation of yourself. It's making an impression to the selection panel. And the third thing, master selection processes, they involve a lot of writing, a lot of essay writing. So you need to be able to strategize as to what will you be writing about in those essays, have time to draft, revise, and also give somebody you trust to read your work, because a lot of things that are written there are not just academic, but they're also personal. But have a person who will be able to review your work and be able to give you a chance to say, this is how it sounds to me, this is what I think you can improve, and this is what you can leave as is. So yeah, so do not be an individual who's going to be doing last minute or late applications, because you risk not being able to get money, number one. So you do not submit your application because you can't afford it. You risk writing essays that are full of grammar and spelling errors. You risk getting anyone to be your referee for the sake of submitting your application, or even if you get those anybody's. They might not write what is needed to represent you, and some might not even send you applications because it's an inconvenience to expect somebody to submit your referee forms um, in 24 hours or even a month. These are people who are busy. They also have lives of their own. They have their own academic and personal or career commitments. So I've done this before, so I'm guilty of this, and I know my referee usually complains and say, no, this is late. And chances are some would say, write those referees on your own. And it's bad, guys. It's really, really bad. So don't try to do late minute stuff. So that is the first point that I wanted to speak about at the application phase. And the second point that I want to speak about is your essays. So there are 3 main essays in the application processes, and that is not to say you're going to get all of these essays at one application. It's possible that you can get 1 or 2 of them or none, but usually you get to write an essay about your autobiography, which is your personal life story, your research interest, and your interest in that particular field that you're applying for, which is your clinical, counseling, neuro, research, or industrial or organizational. So one thing I want to say about these essays is that, especially with the autobiography, make sure that you have 3 autobiographies of different lengths. So the first one would be about 1,500 words, then make a summary with about 750 words, and also have another one about 500 to 600 words, because different universities, they require different lengths. So you don't want to be writing and rewriting. Just make sure that you write one, which is 1,500 words, and then summarize that one into 750 words, and do the same with the third one. This will make sure that when it's the application phase, you know, if this one requires this length, you just pick one and submit, if you get what I'm saying. I hope this is clear. And the second point that I want to make with regards to the essays, guys, avoid trying to sound so fancy and being so fancy. When we are speaking of your research interest, try to use the research that you're already doing in your honors. It's not like you're going to do that at your master's level anyways. Use that one. You already know your research design. You are clear about it. You can confidently speak about it should you be selected into the interviews. And same with your theories, guys. Stop trying to be fancy and trying to speak about things that you think would be so smart. Speak about or write about theories that you're comfortable and that you understand very well. That even if you wake up at night and somebody asks you what is Carl Rogers' theory, you will just blah 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 blah, if you get what I mean. And then there's an essay on personal interest into that specialization. Try by all means to balance between the academic interest and your personal interest, to show that although I have experienced this personally, I've also learned this like during my my studies, and this is where they kind of meet, and this is why I think I would be suitable for this particular specialization. Last point at the application phase would be applying to as many universities as you can, guys. If you have money, apply to all of them, guys, because rejections are real. They are real and they hit so hard, and you don't want to find yourself having applied to one university and that decides your entire next year. So apply to all universities if you have money, or apply to as many universities as you can, and you will figure out how you're going to go there once you are invited. But also put some money aside should you need to travel to that particular universities, because most of universities have moved to online selection processes, but there are still universities that are adamant about continuing with the physical selection process. So have money in case you're invited to such universities. So now let's get into the interview moment. So congratulations, you've been selected to be interviewed by the selection panel. There are different activities that are going to take place. So if you don't know what those activities are, do check out some of the videos that I've made about the selection processes. Usually there would be an individual interview, panel interview, research activities or related activities, role play, and you can also like look at other YouTubers as to like what did they do at those universities, because I only went into like I think 4 or 5 universities. So yeah, let's say now you are invited, congratulations, and this is a huge step, guys. Don't take this step for granted. if you have been invited, even if you didn't make it, this is huge. You have so much potential. It's just unfortunate that you were not the right one at this time, or other people were just better than you at this point, or you're just not fit for that program. It's okay. So let's say it's next year, you get into this phase. There are a few things, and there's so many, but I'm just going to speak about the ones that I feel like affected me a lot during my selection processes. I was distracted while recording yesterday, so I couldn't finish up that video, so I decided to just continue where I left off yesterday. I apologize for the layout because it's definitely going to change because of how I'm using my phone right now, but this is the best chance that I could use to finish up the video. So let's just continue where we were at. I think I was talking about the interview phase, and the following mistakes should be avoided. And the first one is anxiety. Do not go into the interview room without knowing how to control your anxiety. I know that selection processes are anxiety provoking in a sense that you are performing, and I'm deliberately using the word performing because you are definitely performing to get a life-changing opportunity, a career-changing opportunity. In psychology, you only become a psychologist once you have attained a professional master's and other things that do follow, but getting into the program is definitely the first step to success. So I do understand why people are extremely anxious, because also not getting in means you don't know what's next. You do not know what you'll be doing next year, and you're not even sure if you're going to get in next year, and you don't even know what went wrong. So while that is true, don't be in a state where you are jeopardizing your chances of being selected. Try by all means to stay calm, to be able to answer questions as best as you can. So try to regulate your anxiety. I don't know how you do it, but find a way. Find a way, because not getting in means you are going to get a chance next year. And it's a lotto kind of a situation, or a lotto kind of a chance. It's uncertain, and that chance could be the only chance that you could literally get. So if you don't give your best shot this year, your only chance is next year. And we don't know what that chance looks like. So yeah, anxiety. And the second thing that you need to work on is your confidence and communication skills. You're going to be a psychologist, you're going to talk to people all the time. So try by all means to improve your speaking abilities and your confidence. You're going to need that a lot. The in-person selection process are quite intimidating. People like get up, they're prepped up. So you need that 10% confidence bar so that you are able to represent yourself the best way you know how. The second thing that I wouldn't want you to be clueless on is the current affairs and developments in psychology. Let's say it's COVID. You don't want to be in a state where you don't understand what is COVID-19, how is it affecting psychology as a whole. So you're going to be engaged on such matters. So do your research, try to watch or read the news now and again, so that you are not a potential psychologist who's not in tune with reality. Yeah. And another thing that you should not be clueless about is the theory. You should know one theory by heart. In my experience, you're never asked about a specific theory, but you are given a choice to choose which theory you would want to apply in a context of conflict resolution, in your everyday life, and in one of the current affairs. So know one theory by heart, a theory that you can speak and say, this is that and that and that and that. Another thing which is very important is how you present yourself. Oftentimes, with getting information from people, you kind of get an idea of what kind of a person they're looking for during the process, and you try to be that person unaware. So you get these terms: resilient, empathetic, engaging, teachable. The words that people use to describe a potential psychologist. And often people try to go into the selection processes presenting those kind of image. And of course, you would want to be somebody that could be a psychologist, but you don't want to enforce it on the selection members. Try to share experiences that will allow them to pick and say, this is a resilient individual, this is an empathetic individual. Not to say, I'm a resilient, I'm empathetic. That is not going to work. Another important thing is when asked about your life stories, try by all means to not share information that you have not spoken to someone else before or a therapist before, because it can be quite triggering in the interview room, and it can kind of create an image that you have not healed and you still need to work on certain issues. So don't go into the interview room speaking about issues that you have not fully explored. Also, you don't want to share everything about you. Only speak about things that you have fully explored, things that you are comfortable speaking about, things that will help you get in, and not things that will make them start to question what kind of a person you are. Are you okay? Will this program be of any good to you? Are you in the right mental state? And I'm not saying go into these programs while you're still like extremely suffering. A lot of us are still struggling with 1 or 3 or more issues, and some of these people are accepted into this program. So my point is, don't overwhelm the selection panel members to thinking that, oh no, this one is still a client actually, or a patient. Yeah. My goodness, I almost forgot about reading, guys. Always have a book that you're reading. This question pops out a lot. Like, you'll be asked, what book are you currently reading, and what drew you into deciding to read that book? Yeah, it's one of the questions I was once asked. So read something so that you are able to answer this question. In essence, do some self-development while waiting to get into master's, guys. My last point would be, always try to find a balance between academic and personal interest, where questions of your specific specialization interest are asked, because you don't want to go there and sound like you want to be a clinical counseling psychologist because of your life story only, but you also want to appear as somebody who is teachable, somebody who has learned something throughout their undergrad and honors year. So go there and show that I've learned this during my undergrad studies and honors studies, and although I have a personal story to these, this is something that I've learned during my studies that I think can match with this one and make me a better psychologist in the future. And I hope this information does help in avoiding certain mistakes during the selection week. One last thing I want to speak about before concluding this video would be to ask for feedback should you not get in. As painful as it is, you need to get some sort of feedback, whether individual or group feedback. It helps to improve your application in future, and it also helps you to try to understand what went wrong. I remember I did ask for feedback at UCT, and I was told that, as already mentioned, that I need to go into therapy, explore whatever that we talked about a little bit more, because they felt that the program would help me, not that there was anything wrong with my application or how I presented myself. So it's very important to get feedback. And the last thing would be, get a support system, guys. It's very important to have people around you or a person around you who understand what this journey is about, who motivates you and who keeps you going, because you cannot do this journey alone. So join communities. If you have nobody, like your cognition core, they have a Telegram, and be with people who are going through the same journey, and hopefully you do get in 2023 for 2024, guys. All the best with your applications. I hope you guys get in, and I hope you also find other things because other things that also interest you, because a lot of times we do apply into certain programs only to find out that we're not meant to be. If that happens to you, it's also still a good redirection. So all the best, guys. Till next time. Bye.